What if I told you there are subtle, almost magical tricks to make him open up and spill his true feelings for you? Sounds too good to be true, right? But trust me, these psychological tactics can work like a charm, from tapping into his emotions to guiding him to confess what's been hiding beneath the surface. You'll soon discover how to make him want to be vulnerable with you. Stay tuned, because number 5 is a total game changer. I want you to know that every man is different, but these tricks, they've been tested and proven to nudge even the most guarded of men into revealing their true emotions. Before we dive in, I want to remind you that these techniques should always be used ethically and only if you genuinely care about the person. They're not about manipulation or trickery, but about creating a safe space for emotional openness. The goal is to build trust and understanding, not to play games. With that in mind, let's explore how to make him confess his feelings and get closer than ever. Now, let's jump right into it. 1. Controlled jealousy. Jealousy is one of the most primal and powerful emotions, especially when it comes to relationships. It has the ability to make people confront feelings they might otherwise suppress. Controlled jealousy leverages this psychological reaction, but in a subtle and respectful way. The trick is to casually introduce the idea that someone else finds you desirable. It's not about flaunting other suitors or making him feel insecure. It's about gently nudging him to evaluate his feelings for you. When he hears about someone else showing interest, he's forced to think, wait, do I want to risk losing her to someone else? Example in action. Imagine you're talking about your day and you say something like, "It's funny, this guy at work keeps complimenting me. I don't really think I'm his type though." By keeping the tone light and playful, you avoid sounding like you're bragging or trying to manipulate him. This comment creates a sense of urgency in his mind. If he has feelings for you, this could be the trigger that pushes him to act on them. Why it works. This technique plays on a deep-seated psychological principle, the fear of loss. People often don't realize what they truly want until they think they might lose it. Controlled jealousy makes him focus on how important you are to him, pushing his emotions to the forefront. Caution. Use this trick sparingly and with care. Overdoing it or appearing insincere can backfire, making him feel frustrated or question your intentions. The goal is to gently nudge, not manipulate or play games. 2. The vulnerability mirror. One of the most effective ways to make someone open up is by sharing a piece of your own vulnerability. The vulnerability mirror works because it creates a sense of mutual trust and encourages him to reflect on his own emotions. When you share something personal, it signals that you trust him, which makes him more likely to reciprocate. How to use it. Find a moment when the conversation feels intimate and share a personal story or feeling. For example, you might say, "Sometimes I wonder if I hold back my feelings because I'm scared of getting hurt. Do you ever feel that way?" This invites him to reflect on his own emotional experiences and share them with you. Example in action. You're sitting together after a long day and you say, "I've been thinking about how hard it is to really admit your feelings to someone. I mean, what if they don't feel the same? Have you ever felt that way?" The vulnerability in your statement sets the stage for him to mirror your honesty. Why it works. Psychologically, people are more likely to open up when they feel the other person is being genuine and vulnerable. Your openness disarms him, creating a space where he feels safe enough to share his thoughts and feelings. This approach also deepens emotional intimacy, making it easier for him to confess his true feelings. Caution. Avoid overloading him with too much emotion or making the moment feel heavy. The goal is to create a balanced exchange of vulnerability, not to overwhelm him with your feelings. 3. The withdrawal trick. Sometimes stepping back can make someone realize just how much they value you. The withdrawal trick isn't about playing games, it's about creating a moment of self-reflection for him. When you subtly pull back, you disrupt the routine and force him to notice your absence, which can trigger his emotions and lead to a confession. How to use it. Imagine you're used to texting him every morning or initiating most of the conversations. For one day, intentionally skip the morning message or hold back from initiating plans. The key here is subtlety. You're not disappearing or ghosting him, you're simply stepping back slightly. If he cares deeply or has hidden feelings, he'll likely notice the change and may respond with extra effort to reconnect. Example in action. You usually text him good morning every day, instead skip it for a day. If he texts you first and asks, "Hey, is everything okay? You didn't text me this morning," that's a sign he's noticed and it might lead to a deeper conversation. Why it works. Humans are wired to respond to shifts and patterns, especially when those shifts involve someone they care about. When you pull back slightly, it creates a small void in his day, prompting him to reflect on how much he enjoys and values your presence. This technique taps into the psychological principle of scarcity. When something feels less available, its value often increases. Caution. Avoid overusing this trick, as excessive withdrawal can come across as manipulative or disinterested. The goal is to create a moment of curiosity and reflection, not to create distance or confusion. 4. Gentle emotional probing. Men often shy away from directly discussing their feelings, but they're more likely to open up when the conversation feels exploratory and non-threatening. Gentle emotional probing involves asking thought-provoking questions about relationships, love, and emotional intimacy, subtly guiding him to reflect on and share his own feelings. How to use it. During a casual conversation, introduce open-ended questions that encourage him to think about relationships and emotions. For example, ask, "What do you think makes someone truly fall in love?" Or, "Do you believe in soulmates?" Or, "Do you think love grows over time?" These questions aren't directly about you two, but they create a safe space for him to share his thoughts. Example in action. While hanging out, you might say, "I've been wondering, what do you think makes a relationship last? Is it love, trust, or something else?" His answer could reveal his deeper beliefs about relationships and might even hint at how he feels about you. Why it works. This approach leverages the psychology of self-disclosure. When people talk about meaningful topics, they naturally feel closer to the person they're sharing with. By asking about his views on love and relationships, you're not only learning more about him, but also creating an environment where he feels comfortable opening up. Bonus tip. Listen actively and respond with curiosity. For instance, if he says, "I think trust is the most important thing," you could follow up with, "That's interesting. Have you ever had a relationship where trust was a big challenge?" This keeps the conversation flowing and makes him feel heard. Caution. Be mindful of his comfort level. If he seems hesitant to discuss certain topics, don't push. Gentle probing is about fostering connection, not forcing confessions. 5. The power of silence. Silence is often underestimated in conversations, especially during emotionally charged moments. Yet it can be one of the most powerful tools to encourage someone to open up. When we let silence linger after asking a meaningful question, it creates a natural space for reflection and honesty. Silence is uncomfortable for most people, so they feel compelled to fill it, and often that means revealing their true thoughts and emotions. How to use it. The next time you're having a deep conversation with him, ask a pointed question and then let the silence do the work. For example, you might say, "What do you really think about us?" Once you've asked the question, resist the urge to clarify, elaborate, or soften the moment. Maintain eye contact or a calm, attentive demeanor, but say nothing. At first, he might hesitate or even deflect the question, but as the silence stretches on, his brain will naturally process the weight of your question, and he'll feel a growing need to respond. Often this leads to raw, unfiltered honesty that he might not have shared otherwise. Why it works. Silence creates tension, a subtle pressure that encourages him to address the unspoken. It also signals that you're truly interested in his thoughts and emotions, making him feel safe enough to open up. On a deeper psychological level, silence gives his feelings the space to surface and solidify, helping him articulate what he may have been holding back. With that said, thanks for watching, and until the next time.